So there's a message coming through strongly right now. I'm realizing as I talk with several parents over the last week or so that so many moms and dads who are attracted to conscious parenting already have a lot of the tools for knowing how to interact with children or what's the best way to deal with emotions and stuff like that. And the support along the path has more to do with learning, I guess, how to accept our humanness, like the fact that sometimes we mess up or we don't live up to these ideas that we have in our head, right, of how the perfect parent is supposed to be. And I guess I just have a message coming through pretty strongly that says, you are the perfect parent that your child needs right now. All of your flaws, all of, your potential mistakes, all of your tendencies, you're perfect now. Now, that doesn't mean that along our path that we don't get better, that we don't improve, that we don't shift our tendencies or understand ourselves and our child more deeply. That doesn't mean that when we get upset, it doesn't mean that we don't use our mindfulness techniques that we've learned over our lifetime. It just means that these habits and these tendencies, we're all playing them out together. And we don't need to feel guilty for them. It's more like we just need to be aware. We just need to observe as they come into play. And we teach our children so much when we just accept ourselves as we are. And we maybe don't hide so much like what we are experiencing, because they get to see an adult human, raw and vulnerable, in front of them. Now, that doesn't mean that we put our emotions on our child or we make it their responsibility or anything like that, or overly burden them with the challenges of adulthood. It just means that we give a living, breathing example of what it is to be imperfect and to be okay with our imperfectness, how to recover, how to treat ourselves with kindness and forgiveness and grace. Because our children are going through all of this stuff just like we are, except it's very fresh for them. They have a lot to figure out and a huge self-concept to develop. If they have an example in front of them of someone who can navigate these the more challenging parts of our existence, then they're going to have a lot more space for self-forgiveness for themselves when they inevitably, get upset or make a mistake or all the things. So I guess the moral of the story is understanding how to be kind and gentle and how to be a conscious parent in terms of treating our kid with kindness, you know what I mean, is like one part of the equation. And the other part of the equation is learning how to treat ourselves with kindness when we inevitably make mistakes. What I like to say is to trust the unfolding of your personality. Trust the unfolding of your development in relationship with others. It actually is divinely orchestrated, and it's all okay. If we're too busy playing the perfectionist, we actually inhibit all of the learning that can come through, not only for us, but for our children through their relationship with us. And if we allow ourselves just to relax for a second and sort of, I guess, play the fool, like just allow whatever's coming through you to come through. Now, that doesn't mean that we just allow like our anger to be totally uncontrolled. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just sort of a relaxing and a settling into what's naturally arising for you rather than trying to like put on a show or be an image of what we think the perfect parent needs to look like. A lot of times that image of what we think the perfect parent needs to look like, it's an ego fantasy. It's like we've decided what parameters are fitting for the absolute perfect fit for our child when life knows better than us. Life really knows that better than us. And we're designed as a perfect fit for our child. We're far more equipped. We're a far better match for our child than we realize a lot of the time. So this is just a little message reminding you to love yourself the way you are, so that you can invite your child into a living, breathing example of how someone else can, how they can love themselves for how they are as well.